Good afternoon, everybody. Well, our nice snowy weather that we were having has changed, and we've got quite a thaw hitting us right now. And for the next 3 or 4 days, it's supposed to be really warm, and I bet we'll be losing all of our snow, and we'll be down in mud. So the horses have been outside in kind of the rain most of the day, so we want to get some hay and get them in the barn and see how they fared today outside in the rain. So Brenda and I are up in our hay barn. We need to throw down probably 8 bales of hay for the horses. I'm just going to climb on top of the hay mound, give you an idea what's in our barn still. So we still have quite a lot of hay up here. You're probably not able to see it very well because it's dark, but we've got quite a lot here, and we'll be getting down enough for today. I'm going to throw some of these top bales down to make it easier on us to get this hay out.
All right, then I'm coming down.
So one thing I have to do every time about this time of year is go through, kind of get a count of how many bales we do have in our barn to make sure we have plenty for our animals so we don't sell more than we should. So that's what I'm going to do now, get a kind of an idea how many we have. So I got a very rough idea as to how many bales we have. And it looks like we're going to have enough, but not any too much. We always have a difficult time knowing how much hay to sell, and the last thing I want is to sell too much and then have a need to actually go buy hay for my old animals. So I am pretty sure we're okay, but we do have to say no to people so that make sure we have enough to get through. So I'll climb down and help Brenda carry these bales over to the horse barn.
That one looks like it's got a loose string, but I guess it's all right. These are really tight.
So guys, I thought maybe we'd show feeding these horses and kind of give you an idea of what they get for a feed. These bales vary a lot in weight, so I usually go by a general rule is I give each animal half a bale, well, half a bale in the morning and half a bale at night, so they get a bale a day. It varies a lot from horse to horse. It seems like my Belgians and the Percherons definitely eat that and then some, whereas these Suffolks that I have, they tend to be a little bit easier keepers than the Belgians and the Percherons, and they just don't eat so much. So because of that, I got to be careful because I don't want to overfeed them. I like it when they clean up their feed. It doesn't always happen, but I do like it that way. So we have Ken and Lady are staying out in these pens. This is Ken's pen and that's Lady's pen. So I will kind of split the bale in half for them. And this is quite a heavy bale, and so lady gets half a bale there, and then I'll give the other half to Ken. I like to throw it over there because I give them a little bit of grain, so Ken will get a little bit of grain there, and lady in the other box. So Earl is here because he's one of the Suffolks. He tends to get a little bit less hay because he just doesn't eat it. So I give him a little bit less than half a bale. Kind of depends on what's left over from the morning. Now this morning was a non-work day, so they all spent the day outside. So they were only in for a little while and then kicked outside and fed hay outside. So because of that, it's not the same as a normal work day. But still, that's what I do. I kind of check the mangers, see how much hay is left over, and then I feed accordingly. But with Bill, he'll basically eat the whole hay barn. He just eats and eats, and that's fine. But with these others, so with Duke, he actually eats the least amount of all the horses. So he gets quite a bit smaller amount of hay. Baron eats kind of close to average, but he had a lot of hay left over, so he gets a portion of the bale. The rest of this bale will go to the fillies, and the fillies are in this stall here, and they get fed right in here. And the hay I just fed them is really questionable. It really wasn't quite enough, or is not quite enough. So I'll go get another couple more flakes to throw in with them. Sometimes I don't do it at this time because I will always come back in the evening. Usually around 6:30 or 7 and re-water everybody. Sorry, I just got a cough here. It's funny because somebody asked the question, don't you ever get sick, Jim? Yeah, I do. I've been fighting a cold for a little while. And as you noticed, probably we've been kind of even slow on making films, videos. And we've just been so busy doing this, that, and the other thing. With the holidays and everything. With our son and our daughter-in-law and our grandkids came up. They were up here for a while, so that took a lot of our time. And but anyways, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I do hope you guys had a great Christmas, and even wish you a Happy New Year if this happens to come out at that time of when the New Year is. So, but anyways, so what was I saying? So anyways, I come back at night and I re-water everybody, and when I do that, I check their hay mangers to make sure there's still enough hay. At that point, they're pretty well done eating, so they surely don't need a lot of hay in their manger, but I don't want them to have completely nothing in their manger at that time. So if they're really, really low, I will throw in another flake or so to keep them happy. So it is a little bit earlier than I like to feed the horses, but since they've been outside all day, and it's rained quite a bit, rained quite a bit today, so I'd like to get them in. We've actually been dealing a little bit with rain rot on June, our youngest filly. Last year we had a little bit of rain rot with Bree, which I'd never dealt with before. It's a fairly easy thing to fix. We have this medicine that we dump on her and we rub it in these spots that, that have rain rot. And it goes away fairly nicely. At least it did for Bree, and I hope it will for June. So anyways, it's really not, I don't like her to be out in the rain that much because of that. That's actually what causes it. I don't know if you guys have had much issues with rain rot. I don't know. I've had horses for years and years, and I've never even heard of it before last year. But anyways, a lot of things I've never heard of that happens with horses. And sometimes you go forever with horses and you've just never had a problem, and then the next guy with horses, he has all kinds of problems. For example, there is I can't think of what it's called. Can't even think of it, so let's not even talk about that. We'll go on to something better that I know something about. Okay, so let me get some horses in. Brenda, if you can shut that door for right now. I'm gonna shut this door so horses have less places to go and more apt to go into their stalls. So we have Baron and Earl out here. I could have put them all together, but it's just less apt to be fighting if they're separated a little bit. And so that's what I did. Sometimes when they come in, they'll want to drink, but on wet days like this, they really don't need drink most of the time. And hey, there's times when I let these horses in, they just boom, always go right into the right stalls. But there's other times, not so much. Baron did go in his right stall, so I'm going to get his halter on him. And he more than likely would not back out of here anyways. But he's caught, he's in here where he belongs, so I better catch him and put a halter on him so I don't have to deal with it, you know, having him back out and get into trouble. And Earl is in his wrong stall, but it's no big deal. Come on, Earl, back up.
It's not that he doesn't know where his stall is it?
Yeah, he really hasn't had the stall long enough to know really well. But no, he should know it by now. Okay, so now I'm going to walk out and open the gate. So we have in the further pasture, we have Bill and Duke and Bree and June. And tomorrow, I'm looking forward to heading to the farrier. And Duke, get your foot down off that gate. Hey, get out of there. He listens well, doesn't he? But we've got to take Bill and Duke, and they're getting new shoes put on. They're getting the logging shoes put on with snow pads. Hey, get your foot out of there. I must say, Duke and Earl are the worst horses I ever had about just being a nuisance with eating things, chewing on things, putting their feet where they don't belong. Just terrible. Fortunately, they have enough good qualities to easily offset those few bad qualities. Hi, guys. Hey, Skip, be good. So I should have shut that door, but I didn't. I don't like them all going in at once because then it's chaos. I usually catch Bree and June at the door and put their halters on and lead them into their stalls. But as you can see, I didn't today, although maybe I can catch June from going in there. You can get right out of here too, I don't care. Get right out, I don't care. Come on in, Brenda. Bah. Hey, get in there. Get her. Hey. 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 Okay, so now there's only one stall left over for Duke, so he generally goes right into his stall good because of that. Come on. Yep, careful. Get in there. Get her, get her. So I'm hoping that it looks like we've got about 4 days of warm weather. And then it looks like we're going into some serious winter as far as cold weather, which is really what I want. Get her. I wouldn't mind a little bit of snow. We got a little bit of snow coming. Hey, get her. We got a little bit of snow coming also. And for logging, I really don't care if we don't get a lot of snow. And so I'm really looking forward to getting those shoes on these guys so we can do some serious logging. It's amazing. I know a lot of guys wouldn't even agree with me, but it's amazing. Right now, they all four have flat shoes on, and they work. They protect their feet, in so many ways. They work great. They stay on their feet so much better than the heavy logging shoes that I use. But they just do not begin to have the traction for these hard-working pulling horses that the good logging shoes have. And some people don't have a problem with that, but I have a serious problem with that, because I feel that to get a horse to really pull good, they have to be extremely confident that their feet aren't going to slip out from underneath them. And so those good pulling shoes are so important. I am only going to put them on Bill and Duke for right now. I am going to be still logging with Earl and Baron, but I hope to log mostly with these two, just because Duke really needs the work and he's coming along great. But I still would be logging a fair amount with the other two. But the other two will be doing more stuff here at home, like spreading manure and sleigh rides and things like that. So they'll all be getting quite a bit of work, I hope. But for logging, Bill and Duke will be my main log team, with a day or two a week with the other two. So I'm going to get June's halter also. So I've been spending a little bit more time with these two, and I'm pleased with their progress. I do hope to share with you guys some of the stuff I'm doing with them pretty soon in some videos. But yeah, they are progressing a little bit better. They were getting a little bit snotty, I guess you could say, about being handled. They're just basically young and they want to do it their way. And until they realize that I'm the boss, it would only get worse. So I have to let them know I'm the boss, and know I don't want them to. There's a fine line between forcing them to follow you and getting them to follow you because they want to. And of course, I want to get it so they want to. So, but they still have to know I'm the boss. So it's just kind of fine line as to how to do that. Here we go. Come on, June. Coming in? Because the snow has been dropping, they're getting into a couple burdock plants out there too once in a while. But not too bad. Okay, come in. When the others don't drink, I'm pretty sure these guys don't want water either. There's water outside. And so I just bring them right in. So now we'll get June. A lot of times she'll be right there at the door and just follow me right in and come right in her stall. But I like it when she doesn't, actually. I like it when she just waits like this and lets me put the halter on her, and then I lead her in. And so I've been fooling with her feet quite a bit too. I've been pretty pleased with how well they're doing with their feet also. We've trimmed her feet twice now, which is really not enough, but she desperately needs another trimming. So we got to do that very soon. And who knows, I might even show you guys how that goes. Okay, let's get Lady and Ken in. So before I put Ken and Lady in the barn, I like to give them their water for the night. Since they're down here in pens, they don't have halters on. I don't want to lead them all the way up to the water tub. And so I have this bucket there for Ken. And sometimes I'll bring, actually quite often, I'll bring another bucket there for him, for, you know, after I come back out to water. But for Lady, we've got a good sized tub right there, so we're in good shape there. I was thinking about not even showing you out here because of this pile of manure, but that's just the way it is in life. We've had sleigh rides, so I haven't had time to spread manure, but I gotta get that done soon. So now, I'll close my gate. And I'll let them in. They're right outside the door waiting for me. Skip, you be good. Skip, come with me. Come here, come here, come here. Get in there, get in there, get in there. Come on, Ken. Come on, come on, come on. They've been out here long enough that they know the routine. I did have them for quite a while just together here, but they were fighting too much, and it's too small of quarters to have any fighting, so I just changed things around, and Ken stays in this pen and Lady stays in this other pen. There's one other thing I gotta do and that's open the gate down there, so I'll go do that. So our cows get fed different places. I took a bale down into the field for them yesterday morning, and it's difficult with round bales to judge how long they should be. I want them to clean it all up. I still want them to have plenty of hay, and I've kind of been overfeeding them a little bit lately. But anyways, that bale is gone, and now I will let them in the barnyard, which I usually do every night anyways, just because if they want access to my sheds, they can. But we also feed inside, and we'll feed a tiny little bit inside even and show you guys what and where we do with the cows. If you've been watching our videos right along, you know that they're basically all bred. Our Jersey cow here, she is bred. We are debating about whether or not we should keep her or even sell her, because we'd get pretty good money for her right now. And with just 2 people on the farm, having a full-size cow, it's really kind of questionable how wise that would be to make that happen. But we'll see. We'll let you know. But now these cows can come through these gates, which I have. I love this setup with my gates. I can pivot back and forth. So the horses go out here during the day, and the cows go out there, and I can lock them several different ways. So anyways, they can come up here if they want and go into the barn and get fed in the barn. We'll feed them a couple bales there. And tomorrow I'll give them another bale outside. Come on, coming in. This week I actually have 2 steers that are in there that will be going to the butcher, so I got to get them in the barn and get ready to ship them to the butcher. So I guess since I've shown you this much of my chores, I might as well show you the rest of it, and I'll show you how much grain I feed my horses. And right now, in the past little bit, they have worked very little. I've been kind of discouraged even about how little they've worked. But unfortunately, this time of year, it's always been that way. It's so hard to get to do serious logging this time of year because the ground freezes and it thaws out, and it's just a tough time. So because of that, I do not feed a lot of grain, because they're out in small areas in the barnyards and in small paddocks, and they're just more apt to cause trouble if they have a lot of grain in them. So I've cut way back on the grain until we start doing some hard logging. So anyways, and here's my grain room. And I'm sure I've shown this to plenty of you guys before. And with our decent supply of cats, of course we got to feed them. And then I feed straight oats, like I've probably told you plenty of times before. And this ice freezer works really good to store that in. I do feed minerals, but I just do that in the mornings, and so that doesn't have to happen at night. So, these guys are pretty well just getting a taste. They just don't need that much right now. And as you can see, they're in good shape. I do have a decent amount of worming issues, especially with these 2 fillies. We checked, did a fecal sample on these 2 fillies and Bill, and they're both high in the worms again, which is kind of discouraging for both my vet and myself, because we can't quite figure out why that is. But anyways, so we wormed June, and I'm waiting on more wormer to do the whole herd. So we'll do that, but I'm very pleased how well they all look. You know, if they do have worms, it's not affecting them too bad right at this point. And with the worm medicine, we'll have that under control anyways. So that's that. And as far as the grain, this is about how much grain that each of them got. Very, very little. So as I feed my others, I'll show you what I'm feeding. I have done quite a few rides with Earl and Baron, but they're not. It's not hard work. So because of that, I still don't feed a lot of grain. So right now, they're getting about this much morning and night. That's like a quarter of this container. It's just not a lot of grain, and they don't need it. They're hyper as it is, and so they really don't need it. And for Bill and Duke, I'm even going to feed a lot less because they're going up to the Shure tomorrow, and I don't want to have hardly any energy in them. So all they're doing is just basically getting a handful, and that's all they're getting, and that's really all they need. As you can see, these guys are looking great as far as plenty of flesh on them. Get them. So they got plenty of hay, so they're doing great. Whatever. Okay, so now with Ken, who is working, hasn't worked for a long time now. He gets about the same as the smaller guys. You know, they just pretty well a good sized taste. Lady, I do feed a little bit more because she's pregnant, so she gets a good, between a third and a half a scoop of grain. And I just dump it on her hay. Usually it sinks in there a little bit farther than that, but she's a good eater, so she'll eat all that hay, she'll eat all that grain, so it will be all gone by the morning time, and so that's good. So I guess that's about it for horse chores. On their days off like this, they sometimes, if it's a work day, Brenda will do a lot of brushing in the morning and then they go outside. But when they come in after being outside all day, especially if it's a rainy day, which is the days that they're out more often than not, they're wet, so they don't usually get brushed. We wait until morning to do that. But did I miss anything, Brenda?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we'll call it good for this until I need to water them tonight. But let's go feed the cows down at the end of the barn. I'm just looking out the window and I see a lot of legs out there, so I think they're still there. They may or may not come in, but we'll at least give them their hay, so in case they want hay. One thing I do have on my little grain room, which I really like, the chest freezer is great because it has a cover on it, but a horse with any smarts at all could easily get their nose in here and pick that right up. And that's the last thing you want, is to have a horse gorging himself on grain. So because of that, I always put my board down here that I made, and this has been here for quite a few years now, and it's held up pretty good. All it is one small bolt there, and I just have this little twist thing and boom, boom, and it works really good. It's a piece of hardwood, so it's strong, but that keeps any of the animals that might get loose out of their stalls to get in here. Also, the fillies are in this pen here, so they'd have to get through here and then open that up, whereas all the rest of them, if they get loose, they'd have to do all that, plus they'd have to get this door open, which has a good latch on it, so you know it's not likely to happen. But that being said, if a horse gets loose at night, even with not even worrying about the grain, they can still do a lot of damage just fighting amongst each other sometimes. So let's go show you where we feed the cows when we feed the cows. So we have just the 4 young ones in here, and there they are cowering over in the corner. They've already been fed. As you see, they're not too hungry. We tend to overfeed our animals instead of underfeed. But yeah, this pen here will need to be cleaned out sometime soon. And but that's we might put one more animal in this pen for the winter. Maybe the milk cow if we decide to keep her. So there's still a little bit of hay even down here, so I'll just open up one bale just in case they want to come up here, and during the night they might. We really have too many animals for this small area to eat properly. But we have 3 steers that will be going. And then, like I said, we may take 1 or 2 animals into the other pen. Okay. Chores are done, except for I'll probably have to check the chickens and I'll have to fill the fire.
Hi, babies. You already roosting? Nice. Hey, how you doing? How is everybody? Doing okay? Checking for eggs. I don't see it. Oh, here's one. The pullets are laying. We have 2 pullets and one of the older ones, and they are laying eggs still occasionally. I think they're molting a little bit. They're losing a lot of feathers. All 3 of them. So, still got water. Good till morning. See you in the morning, babies.
Well guys, I'm out finishing up nightly chores out here just watering everybody. And I decided that since Duke and Earl are kind of permanent in these stalls now, it's time to change these signs. So I took Ken's sign off and I have Duke's sign to go up here. And as you can see down here, I've already changed Lady's sign to Earl. So the reason I have these signs actually is because a friend from our channel actually made these, and these are signs we just never put up because we never had a good spot for it, but now we do. So Daryl Stevenson from someplace in New York was kind enough to make these signs for us a while back now, and I just have not used them. I still have Duke and Earl's old signs in the stalls where the fillies are, and that's okay, but we figured might as well get these up. And of course, I'm sure that they'll start learning to go into their stalls better if they just have their signs up so they can read where they're supposed to go. So anyways, I will get this one in place and we'll get the rest of these horses watered. Get it. So now that we have the right names in the stalls here, I decided to also put Ken's name in his stall and Lady's up on the wall here. So that's about going to do it for our nighttime watering. Just want to remind you guys that don't forget, if you haven't bought your calendars for this year, they're still available. What's left, I'm not really sure, but there's still some left, I know. So get your calendars ordered so you know what day it is. So you guys have a great day, and we shall see you next time. Hi there, go get your stall. Get your stall, it's the one down there that says Earl. Check up top to read the name tag. Look at that. The horse knows how to read. Good boy. Bree, come here. Bree, come here. Here, guys. Get her. Get her.